Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. This is VCT Webster and today I will be talking about Demon Slayer chapter 189. I would first like to apologize for the late post, but I've been otherwise busy. Again, quick reminder, this video will contain spoilers, so if you haven't read the chapter I strongly urge you to do so. So if you already read this chapter or just don't care about spoilers, let's begin. This chapter begins with a shot of Nezuko making her way towards the battlefield. We see her kind of struggling and sweating, and it's probably from the demon antidote that she ingested, the one that Tamayo made. Then the chapter moves on to the village, where the fighting is taking place, and we see the attendants setting up a perimeter by trying to keep the people away, telling them that there's a sinkhole and that they need to evacuate. The people ask if they're police officers, and they reply that the police asked them to come. Now, to me this is kind of interesting because this is obviously a lie. Early in the manga and the anime, they state that the demon corps are not recognized by the government or law enforcement. They always try to keep their presence incognito because, it's kind of hard to explain what they do. And even if they do manage to get a chance to explain it, most people don't really buy into it. If the manga does continue, past this big battle, because right now it does have a bit of it like this is the end game, but if it does continue past Muzan, some way, somehow there's still more demons out there, I feel like that could be a very good obstacle to have that after this, all the destruction Muzan caused and everything, they are pretty much uncovered. Demons are real and the demon Slayer corps are real. So, and that'll be how they could do what they do now that everybody knows, and they have to deal with the government who's aware of the presence. I think that would be a very good dynamic should it continue past the battle with Muzan. So then we see a few of the corps looking at a collapsed building, and they're relieved that no one was hurt. They hear a sound from the rubble, and they rescue the one who will become the MVP of this chapter, a cat. Now there's a cat in the rubble that has one of those tags that Tamayo made, the psychic tags where she used I think it's the same cat that she used to collect the samples from Tanjiro, from the demons that he slayed. And as soon as it's rescued from the rubble, it runs towards the battlefield where the court's trying to call it back. So after that, we go back to the battle, and it's just like last time. We see Muzan fighting Iguro, and Iguro is having a little bit of success. Because he's fresh, he's still not as injured as the other three. And the success that I'm talking about is he's not getting killed or injured immediately. And Muzan just muses how their efforts are just buying them a little more time. They're not gonna be able to take him down. And Iguro starts to get fired up despite his exhaustions, because he says that he needs to put his life on the line, even if it's to by just 1 second, that they cannot be defeated, otherwise everybody else who died in this battle would have died in vain. And that's it just keeps getting more and more intense like that. And the panel then cuts to Tomioka blocking an attack, but when he does so, he loses his grip and his sword is knocked away. And Muzan immediately, tries to attack him, but Himejima and Iguro block the attack and save him. Then Shinasugawa tells Tomioka to snap out of it, and he, Tomioka picks up his swords and attacks, and he says that he has to put a fight worthy of the water Hashira. Now, to me, this is a very beautiful moment. In the story throughout the whole series, especially towards the beginning, we see Tomioka, and he always seems somebody who was very distant and arrogant. Then we have that part where after, Tanjiro discovers the sun breathing techniques, and he tells Tanjiro that he's a little disappointed because he wanted him to take over the mantle of the water Hashira for him, because he didn't feel worthy. We hear the whole story about how during the selection exam, his fellow I forgot what his name was, but the guy he was with sacrificed himself so that Tomioka could live. And after that, Tomioka always felt like he wasn't good enough, and he's the water Hashira. He's like, no, like if I wasn't able to defeat that demon, it's somebody that, you know, my friend died because of me. I don't deserve it. And we realized at that moment that it wasn't that he was arrogant. It wasn't that he thought he was better than everybody else, you know. He was just a tortured soul, you know. He was haunted by his demons, figuratively speaking. And then Tanjiro's kind words, he tells him that, you know, like, you honor him even after death by everything that you do, you know. And he goes into this whole discourse about it, and it kind of opens up Tomioka's eyes that he shouldn't be acting the way he's acting. And then we started to see that he's starting to overcome those insecurities. You know, we see a bit more humanity in him. And when the campaign against Muzan started, you know, we see this new determination in him. You know, because before it felt like he was doing everything because he had to. You know, because someone told him. He was like a soulless soldier. But now in this campaign, we see him, you know, actually have some drive to take him out. And then you couple this with how overwhelmed he feels at times, but just by the sheer power of Muzan and his upper moons. So this particular moment when he's about to give up, but then he finds the strength within himself to not give up, it's a real moment of growth and strength in him. Like, I really love this moment. You know, it shows a lot of character growth from when we first saw him. So after that, the fight continues, and we see Muzan thinking to himself how the Hashiras are not gonna last until dawn because of the poison that he hit them with, and it's starting to destroy their cells. And the Hashiras, you know, are realizing as much. You know, they see like they know they can't keep going, but they're gonna keep fighting. Then enters the cat that was saved earlier in the chapter. He had a pack strapped to him, and he jumps in the middle of the battlefield, and the pack opens up and shoots out 4 vials that eject some kind of serum into all the Hashiras. Muzan immediately kills the cat, which to me, you know, I'm not a big cat person, but even I thought that was cruel. So the vials contain an antidote for the poison, you know, and we see that it's starting to take effect. You know, the little blotchy marks that they had start to fade away and everything. And with that, like, the Hashiras are once again reinvigorated. Like, they feel like, okay, let's get back in the fight. Like, we're better. We're gonna make it this time, you know. And Muzan, you know, frustrated, you know, he says like, oh my god, like, this is Tamayo's doing. Even in death, you know, she still manages to piss me off. And he ramps up his attacks. Like, he just starts attacking like crazy. And the other Hashiras, like, they're barely being able to block it and barely able to, you know, hold off his attack. And we see Iguro, you know, like, it focuses back on Iguro, and he starts to think to himself that he has done the least in this battle, and he wishes that he could deliver a more effective attack. And he muses to himself that when creatures are near death, you know, they could come up with some explosive and extraordinary strength. Like when he escaped from the cell, you know, not having to do anything, he only had the strength to lift up a chopstick, yet he managed to cut a hole in the lattice and escape. Or he goes to Tokito, where on the verge of death he turned his blade red, even though he only had the strength to grip his katana. That's all he had the strength to. And he says that perhaps by pressing himself to the brink of death, any wielder could turn their blade red. And as he's saying that, and as he's gripping his sword with a lot of force, we start to see that his blade is starting to become red. You know, and that's incredible. Like, that's something that was never really explored. You know, like, we know that red blades damage the demons the most, but we never really understood like what causes it, what drives it. You know, and it also goes back to the demon slayer marks that they have. How it was just Tokito, Tanjiro, and I forgot what her name was, but it was only a few that managed to manifest that. And maybe the red blade is also something else that only manifests itself to certain demon slayers under certain circumstances. Maybe everybody has a potential to do so, maybe they don't. but I do feel like this is gonna be a game changer, and I feel that this is foreshadowing to Tanjiro once again getting the red blade in this sword. So yeah, again, like there's not a lot to talk about like previous episodes. Again, like this is a fight scene, and it's really hard to analyze fight scenes. You know, a lot of it is just action. So that really is all I have to say today. So what do you guys think about this chapter? Did you like it or not? Leave your thoughts down in the comments below. Once again, if you like this video, hit that like buttons. If you want to see more videos like this, hit the subscribe and notification buttons so you don't miss any of them. Once again, thanks again for watching, and I will see you all next time.